on this computer. Awesome. So thank you everyone for popping on. I'm gonna do this too. Hopefully this will work. Ooh, maybe not. And for coming to learn a little bit about what I think works. I don't know. So Kelly asked me to do this because she thought I was like the PSQV queen. I have been in this business for a little over 2 years. Just to tell you guys, some of you don't know my story. I started in April 2 years ago, and when I first heard about Rodan and Fields, it was actually one of my friends posted on Facebook, Freebie Friday, and I was the first to comment because I love Facebook and I love free stuff, and I got a glow pack actually. And so of course I tried the stuff, and I actually did buy like the Redefine regimen, which I thought was crazy expensive because I used Clean and Clear, that morning burst stuff, because I liked how it made me like wake up in the shower. Like that's literally the only thing I used on my face. But I just turned 30 and I thought I could do something a little better for my skin than what Clean and Clear and whatever I was finding at Walgreens was doing. So I used this stuff for about a month and a half. I didn't really have issues with my skin. So I had told her, you know, like, I mean, I'll keep buying it, but it's not doing anything. She was like on my butt to take my after picture. So I did. And of course it actually was changing my skin. I did have lines that were showing up around my eyes that now were going away. My overall skin tone was way better. So at that point she's like, well, you know, maybe you should like about the business. You could get this kit and it's 50% off and you could try everything. And I really wanted to try everything. So that's really why I bought a business kit, because it was a discount. And along the way, she said, you could also, you know, make a little money. And so I was not initially looking at this like it was going to be a life-changing business opportunity. I was going to have a sweet little shoe fund. If you guys have ever met me, I like basically only wear heels, and I have a lot of great shoes now, thanks to Rodan and Fields. But it grew, and people were interested. I was really excited about it, and that is kind of how it grew. So the shoe fund turned into a travel fund. My brother and sister both live in Denver now with their families. So Rodan and Fields money gets me out there every couple months, which is great. That travel fund got bigger. I earned a trip to San Francisco. I earned a trip to Mexico. I was able to send myself to Iceland for a yoga retreat and not blink an eye at the cost because of Rodan and Fields. The biggest thing that Rodan and Fields has done for me monetarily so far was last year I was able to buy my condo. I am single in the city, and Rodan and Fields was my down payment on my house, which is like my favorite place in the whole world. And you guys should all come over and drink Tito's with me. And so that's what it's done so far. Like I said, when I first started, I really had no idea what this was going to be. I am the chief operating officer at a private equity firm. It's a big job and I'm really good at it, but I don't care about it. And so I don't want to do it forever. I don't want to have to go to work because my boss says so. And I want to be able to stay home whenever I want. I want to be able to travel. And so I don't have a husband and I don't have kids, but when I do, Rodan and Fields is going to let me live however I want, because this is going to be my job and it's going to go with me anywhere I go. So that's my Rodan and Fields story. And I know you guys have probably heard lots of them. But if you're new, that's also a piece of this business, that we share the story of the products and we share the story of the business. So when you learn stories of people who are in the business, whether they're brand new or whether they've been in it for a couple years or whether they are, RFX, Lexus, whatever, keep those stories in your tool belt. And when you meet somebody who might have a similar story, bring it out. And that can be a really great way to start a conversation about Rodan and Fields and what it might be able to do for them. So that had nothing to do with PSQV. Well, I mean, I don't know, kind of. Your PSQV grows when you have people join your team. Susie's laughing at me. So my main thing with this business in general, like just overall, I think that when you get over the hump of overthinking, you can be really, really successful. So sometimes that's emotional, where, if you send 5 messages and nobody responds, and you're like constantly looking back at those 5 messages and being like, well, why haven't they responded? Well, they read it. I can see they read it. Well, and then you get stuck in that little time period, and you get stuck on those 5 people who you are convinced would be the best consultants or preferred customers in the world. And this is going to change their life. And all their kids are going to go to college on Rodian & Field's money. You've planned it all out before they've even responded at all. I've done that, right? But you get stuck there. So it really is a numbers game. And if you can get past those 5, and when you don't hear from them, not dwell on it and keep doing more. Keep doing another 5 and keep doing another 5 and keep doing another 5. That's where you're really going to find success, because you're starting new conversations with a lot of people. So on our team, I'm going to clean it up a little bit, but you can probably figure out what it really means. On our team, when we do reach outs, you have to emotionally disconnect. And when we say you have IPA, which is income producing activity time, make it really focused. And so if you have a half hour, make sure that is focused half hour where you have your good language that you feel comfortable with, and you are literally copy, paste, enter, and then you move on. Or you can say some real harsh words in your head to that person who you just sent the note to. But the idea behind that is, if you've already bitched them out before they even have a chance to respond, then you're totally okay if they don't respond, because you've already let them know. So in my head, I totally do that. I'm like, all right, copy, paste, enter, send, move on to the next. Copy, paste, enter, send, move on to the next. It helps me not think back and not get stuck on those people. So in a half hour, if you really have that mentality, you can send a lot of new messages to people. And it doesn't matter if you don't know them. It doesn't matter if they're your best friend. It doesn't matter if they're your mom. It doesn't matter if they are somebody who was mean to you in high school. It doesn't matter, because you are literally sharing these amazing products and this amazing opportunity. And if they want to respond and learn more, that's all you need to know. And if they don't, then you're on to the next person who might want to respond and learn more. So being able to emotionally disconnect is one of the biggest things. That also goes for when people do say no, or when that person who you have decided is going to pay for their kids' college with Rodian & Fields doesn't want to learn more. Or maybe they do. Maybe you've talked to them for a whole month about Rodian & Fields, and then they decide this isn't for them. Those are some of the hardest. Or those people who come to you and they're like, I need redefine, and I need reverse, and I need the roller, and I need acute care. And then they never come through and they never order anything. Those people, to me, re-energize me, and they turn my frustration into action. And so for every big no that I get, I do 5 more reach outs. And it just turns it into more action, more conversation, and instead of sitting there being like, well, why did they do this? Why did they do this? Why did they do this? You know what? It's cool. They said no. Somebody else in these new 5 is going to say yes. So that's kind of where I go with that. I wanted to give you a little perspective. So the last couple months, I have had kind of crazy PSQVs, and it's because I have sent probably more messages than I ever had in my whole business. So I actually looked back to July to see how many reach outs I did in July. And in my very first week, I challenged my team to beat me and do more reach outs than I did. So I did 175 in my first week. And then I continued. So throughout the month of July, I did about 400 reach outs. And so when you hear that, it might sound overwhelming, but think about how I'm doing it. I had language that I felt comfortable with. And if you guys need help with language, ask your upline. And if they don't feel comfortable, ask their upline. You can always keep reaching up to find language that you feel really comfortable with. But literally what I was doing was copy, paste, enter, copy, paste, enter, copy, paste, enter, copy, paste, enter. You do that 400 times, and I got a lot of responses. Some people said no. A lot of people said, yeah, I'd like to learn more. I did 13 calls in July. And so when you do 13 calls, so putting it into perspective of like ratio, Avo, our CFO, is not here to talk numbers, but I usually expect about 10% of the people that I reach out to actually respond. And then about 10% of those people to either join my team or buy product. So again, the more people you're talking to, the more business you're going to have. So then once they are your preferred customer, how do you guys handle, keeping them in the funnel, keeping them interested, keeping them buying new products, ordering every couple or few months? The same thing, I have the same mentality with my preferred customers as I do with reach outs. So if your team has a sale, or if you have a sale, or if corporate has a new bundle, I personally message every single one of my PCs what it is. And it doesn't matter if I messaged them yesterday because they had an auto ship. It doesn't matter if I messaged them an hour ago because I had a personal sale. It doesn't matter if I have sent them 10 messages and they have never responded. I will send them that 11th message about the travel bundle. And I also preface these people though. So I let them know part of the deal and part of the perks of you being a preferred customer is that you get me. And I'm going to be in your inbox. I'm going to be Victoria's Secret. So I'm not going to be in lingerie, but I'm going to be Victoria's Secret. So if you guys think about how many emails do you guys get from Victoria's Secret? I mean, like
0.
Well, you were lucky. Who said that? Or I don't know, or like stores that like if you have like a credit card or any store that you ever give your email to. I think that I usually bring up Victoria's Secret because I think that they send me like 3 a day, and I don't know why they think this is a good thing, but I keep going back. I'm like, I don't care. I need some new workout clothes. Let's go. Like they reminded me and they sent me a cute picture of a workout clothes. So when I need them, where do I go? I go to Victoria's Secret. It's because they're in the forefront of my mind. So don't feel like, so sometimes we think because it is a personal business and because this is our business that we have to work it differently than other people. Somebody is shaking something. I don't know if you can. I think it might be you, Kate.
I think Katie and Caitlin. Can you guys mute your lines?
Can I? Oh.
Mute.
How do you do that?
Are you on your? There you did. You just did it.
Yeah.
Caitlin, are you on a computer or a phone?
Phone.
Okay, I don't know how to do a phone actually. Anyone? Bueller?
I'm on the phone. It's in. If you click the totally bottom of the screen, and then it should be in the bottom left-hand corner. Oh, I got it.
Cool. Thank you. So that's kind of so a lot of times we think because this is our personal business, we have to run it differently than big businesses do. And we kind of tiptoe around talking to people about it. And we tiptoe around telling people about deals. And we tiptoe around telling people about our favorite products and how great of an opportunity it is. Well, the deal is when you go out and a friend says, how's your job? Do you tiptoe around telling them about how your 9 to 5 is if you have a 9 to 5? No. So why would we do that with this? Facebook, I think of the same way as those Victoria's Secret emails that you get over and over and over again. You can unsubscribe or you can scroll by. You don't have to answer the email every single time, but if that person wants eye cream, you know where they're going to come? To you, because they know that you have bomb eye cream because you posted a picture about it. And even if they didn't like it, and even if they didn't comment on it, they might have scrolled right by, but they know that Brooke's the girl that is upside down all the time and has skincare. That's literally what people know about me. And maybe that I post like positive comments. And that's fine. I feel like that's a good thing for people to know. That's because that's my Facebook. That's kind of like my mentality with the whole business. I was actually telling Emily when she was on a little earlier, I just had, actually Sydney's here. Sydney, I had been messaging her for like a good 9 months. And we know each other through mutual friends, but we don't see each other very often. And I probably messaged her 10 times and she didn't respond at all. But on the 11th time, she responded. She wanted to learn more. We got on a call, and like the next week, she was on my team and killing it. So you just never know when it's going to be the right time for people. And I think a lot of the time that's why I do have success, because I don't care what happened, why you didn't answer. Like if maybe you saw the message and you thought, oh yeah, I wonder what Brooke's doing. And then you completely forgot about me. Or maybe you saw the message and you were like, I do not care about skincare. Well, you know what? Maybe 3 months later, your hormones are changing and now you have crazy breakouts. Like, I don't know, things in your life might change. Maybe you just never saw those messages. Maybe you don't know how to use Facebook Messenger. I could teach you how to do that too. You never know. So I just keep sending the messages and people will come back if they want to come back. And honestly, some people will say no, and maybe they'll say no like in a strong way. But then like, I don't even really care about that either. I'm like, that's cool. Your loss. Have wrinkles and be broke. Like, I'm not gonna. So I don't know. I really believe in this. And I think that is something that probably comes through too in my like sarcasm in this, hopefully. But I do believe in it. I know that this has changed my whole viewpoint on what my life is going to look like. And a lot of times people have preconceived notions about stuff like this. And that's why we need to talk to them to give them the real information and help them get whatever they want out of Rhododendron Fields.
Brooke, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, do it.
Like, how long do you wait in between reaching out? But if they say no, I'm not interested at this time. So how long do you wait? And then how long do you wait in between the silences too?
Yeah. So after the very first reach out, I usually give them a week. If they're silent, like crickets, I usually give them a week, and then I come back and I'm like, hey, I'm not sure if you saw that message I sent you last week. I'd still really love to chat. Okay. After that, if it's still crickets, I probably wait like a month or two. And actually, Emily and I were just talking about this too. So you probably wait a month or two, but in that time, you're reaching out to so many more new people than you are following up that eventually the follow-ups will get further apart. Just because you spend more time on new people than you do on people who have ghosted you or have already said no. For people who say no, that's actually a really good question. I'm glad you asked that, because when people say I'm not interested at this time, I always let them know that I'm going to follow up. So even in that very first conversation when they say no, I'm like, not at this time. Totally get it. No worries. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep you in the loop when exciting things happen with the business or when there's a sale. So you just always know. And just let me know. If you have questions, I'm here. So I've already told them I'm going to bug you again. Right? So they know, and then it's not a surprise. If somebody says don't ever message me about this again, I probably would wait at least a year. You think that's a joke? I do it.
Brooke, I have a question with that.
Yeah.
So are you using Team Z or any kind of tools so you know that it's like a week later since your last follow-up?
Yeah. So I've done all different kinds of stuff. Right now I do use TeamZ, and if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's a website that allows you to download all of your Facebook contacts, and I think you can do LinkedIn contacts too, so that you have a full list of people. And I do use that now. When I first started, this is my passion planner, which I'm like obsessed with. And in the back, there is graph paper. I wish I had my old one. But this was like full. I had like 10 pages full of names. And then on the date when I would copy, paste, enter, I would put the date next to their name so I knew when the last time was that I messaged them. I know Lauren Lavarado-Barron is obsessed with Excel sheets, and if anyone is an Excel fiend, she can send you all kinds of fancy stuff that she uses. But I've also used Excel before. I think the most important thing is that you track it. And so in a day, I've talked to 25 people today, and you have put the date next to it. So then whether you're going through paper, I know Susie uses paper, whether you're going through paper or whether you're looking at TeamZ or whether you're looking at your Excel sheet, you can find when the last time was that you spoke with them. I know when some people start, they rely on Facebook Messenger to be their list, and I would really suggest not doing that and getting out of that as soon as possible, just because sometimes it's not reliable. I did that when I first started, and every once in a while, just all my messages would be gone. So I didn't know what I had said to people. I didn't know had they responded. I don't know, unless I'd made really good notes about it, I didn't know. So I always suggest finding your system, whether it's paper or TeamZ or Excel or freaking Post-it notes. In my planner, I also have like people who have responded maybe, or like, yes, they want information. And so I'll go back and say say there's some incentive for new consultants. And I go back like my last 6 months to anyone who has said, yes, let's get on the phone and talk, regardless of if they followed up or not, and let them know there's this exciting thing happening. So the organization of it is important. And there is actually a free 30-day trial of TeamZ if you want to do that. The one thing about TeamZ that is not my favorite is part of their like training. They train a little bit differently than we do. It's definitely a relationship business, but we dig into the relationship faster than they do. They want you to like send a, hey, haven't talked to you for a while, hope your life's been good for 20 years message, which I actually feel is a little inauthentic. I like to send a message and say, hey, I want to talk to you about my business, because what do I want to do? I want to talk to you about my business. So yeah, I feel like I talked for a long time about lists. Did that answer your question, Jill? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Cool. Yeah, does anyone else have like questions or thoughts or things that have frustrated you and you want to talk about?
I know, I have heard this, so I'm going to say it. They feel saturated, tapped out. There's nobody else they can reach out to. And I know BK, she's been doing it over 2 years, and she just hit her highest PSQV ever. So
yeah, there is no such thing as being tapped out. The first thing I would say is, how many Facebook friends do you have? And how many of those people have you messaged? Because I bet you have not messaged all of them. One thing that TeamZ did for me actually was show me how many Facebook friends I had not talked to. You can also download your Facebook friends list and print it out, which I know Chantel and Lavo did recently, and they just had like a packet of paper with them, and they were going down the list, sending messages to everyone in their Facebook. I would start there for sure. Also, I Facebook friend everybody. One thing that I do to get more Facebook friends is when I go out with girlfriends or anyone, I'm all over social media, but part of that is I take pictures with my friends and then I tag them. And then anyone who likes that picture, that I don't know, I friend them. So I feel like they made the first move, right? Because then if they're like, hey, how are we friends? I'm like, I don't know. You must have, liked one of my pictures at some point. And so then that builds my list. Always being, you can also look for just suggested friends. If you are, if you are not like huge on Facebook, you can literally like think back to elementary school and high school. I went through my mom's Facebook and like just friended all her people. And like, all these women are so freaking supportive. Like my mom's friends are like the nicest people on all of my posts. It makes me feel great. You should like your mom's friends. You should friend your mom's friends. So I just do that. That's a big part of it. Once you feel tapped out, and like the first time you feel tapped out, it's probably because you have gotten to the point where everyone that you feel like you have talked to. Again, I had 2 people join my team last month who I met, Sydney and I like know each other through friends. Karen I had never met before, and Dana I had never met before. So you can send messages to people who you literally have never met before and still have the conversation. Someone's sound is on. Do we know who that is?
Becky, mute your ass.
Doesn't have any more, then
sounds like she's fighting with her husband.
Becky! Oh, I can mute her. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. So yeah, is that good, Suze?
Yes, I love it. I love the hold on. Sam just sent me the funniest text. She said, basically, I need a boss social life. It's nice. Yeah. Even if you don't, if you don't have a boss social life, it's still okay. Like you can go ahead. Yep.
Yeah. So you don't have to have a boss social life, but that is part of the business, is to continue to grow your network. And so for some people, that's going to be a thing that you challenge yourself to do outside of your comfort zone. Talking to people who are not just your people, or talking to your people who have already said no about referrals. Asking for referrals is, honestly, it's another hard thing. It's hard for me, for sure. But one thing that I have learned is if you say, just let me know if anyone you know is interested, they're never going to let you know. If you give them specifics of the kind of person or or like a number, like, could you hook me up with 2 of your friends who might be interested? And I always say, like, you don't need to know anything about this to hook me up with your friends. Like, I'm going to fill them in. Just tell them that you think that they might like this opportunity. It's the same thing with that initial reach out, that we want to get them on the phone before we like send them a website and they get lost and decide that they aren't interested before they actually know anything about it. Yeah. Suze, yeah. So I started a little bit with like hot, warm, and cold market. And there are definitely transitions. And I think just to even be aware of that is really helpful, that you will get to a point where you have talked to everyone who you feel like you know. But then there's the warm network, which is like, people who you work with who like you don't really talk to, but like their name, or maybe you don't know their name, but they're like 3 cubicles down from you. And so then you have to like find out their name so you can go and talk to them about Rodan Fields. And then there's the cold market where you're just sending messages on Facebook, and people, hopefully you have shared what Rodan and Fields is in your brand on social media. I think a lot of times that's why people talk to me on Facebook, because they think they know me. And I mean, they do. I'm like a super oversharer, but they think they know me. So they want to know more about the business. Other questions, thoughts? Nope. What else? Oh, for following up with PCs, so before their auto ship goes through, I always send a note, usually about 10 days before, so hopefully even before their email goes. And I do not manage all of my PC's accounts anymore. It just got like too time consuming, but I still send personal messages asking how it's going, if they have any questions, if they're running low on anything, and if they want to try anything new. And then every single time I either tell them about a sale that's going on or suggest a new product. You know, when summer's coming up, I always talk about microdermabrasion paste and the sunless tanner, because I am basically albino and I need it so that people aren't blinded by my legs. And I write that in the text message and people think it's funny and then they buy it. And I mean, eye cream's always a good one. I usually try to suggest products that are over $80. So even if they don't need anything else, it can be their preferred customer order where they get free shipping. You know, I'm like, this eye bundle we have is really great. It's eye cream and eye claws, or I don't know, makeups. I mean, hydration is always a good add-on. Lash Boost, when it finally comes back, oh my gosh, if your people aren't using Lash Boost, like they 100% need to get the bundle. They need to get the regimen and the Lash Boost right when it's back. All of that. I just always suggest at least one new thing. And half the time, and this is another thing, don't overthink that too, because half the time they're like, oh, I actually already use that. I'm like, oh, sweet. How about this thing? Because I don't know what all of my PCs use. There's a lot of stuff. And I mean, they use a lot of stuff because I keep telling them that they need a lot of stuff. And then they do it. It's great. So that was one other thing, that I always suggest new stuff so that even if they're on an off month, they might need something. And then it becomes more sustainable. And that they also can order multiple times in a month, which leads me to my last point, which I didn't write down, to talk about Lead the Way miles. So hopefully you guys know about Lead the Way. If you don't, go to leadtheway.com, rfleadtheway.com. I should know the real website. If you Google RF Lead the Way, it'll come up. But the program just started over this month, and basically for preferred customer orders and new consultants, they give you free stuff. So I have an Apple Watch, I have a backpack, I have a carry-on suitcase coming, I have an umbrella, I have all kinds of stationery, I had like fun pens, just like fun random stuff. I got a purse sometime, I don't know, a cooler, like lots of random stuff. They have really good stuff this time around. So go to rfleadtheway.com or whatever the website is and set up your profile. And the way that Lead the Way has helped me be more successful is because it pushes me further. So when you have 10 preferred customer orders, you get 2 miles. Okay. At 15 preferred customer orders, you get 3. At 20 preferred customer orders, you get 4, on and on and on, right? So if I have 18 preferred customer orders in 1 month and it's the 30th, do you think I'm going to leave it like that? No, I want that extra mile. So I am going to find 2 more preferred customer orders over $80, and I'm going to get those in by the end of the night, even if I've met all my other goals. If my title goal is there, if I hit my PSQV goal, if I helped, my team hit their goals, I'm not going to leave miles on the table because, honestly, the biggest prize this time is to go to Cancun, because I want to go to freaking Cancun. I'm going to get those 2 more preferred customer orders so that I could go to Cancun. So I always keep that in the back of my mind and put that in my goal setting. And it does 100% push me. There are actually statistics, I don't know what they are, but that say people who are engaged in Lead the Way have bigger businesses and they grow faster. So that is one more thing. And really go look at it. The stuff is so cute. And I'm not even really like a gifts person. Like, stuff doesn't really motivate me. What motivates me is like being the best at things. And so I always want to hit the highest milestone of any of my friends. But if gifts motivate you, you should go look at them because they're really cool. I mean, I use all the stuff. It's just, that's not actually why I want to do it.
It's funny, you guys, when I feel like I'm like, oh, I'm very nervous about messaging this person, or should I message this group of people? I always go to Brooke, and she puts it right into perspective for me. And she's like, as you can see, her attitude is just like, just do it. Like, what are you losing? And they can unfollow you. They can whatever. Just do it. And it's worked. And every time I do, I get results. So thank you, Brooke. I love that. Like, just kind of just do it attitude.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Go. Just go. So I've talked for about a half hour. I mean, I could keep going, but I feel like I would just bore you guys to freaking death. Do you guys have other stuff you want to talk about? If you're frustrated about something with orders, or if you feel like people aren't getting back to you, or what is happening in your businesses right now on the 10th of the month?
So what I get really frustrated with, hi, I'm Anna, everyone.
Hi, Anna.
I used to live in Chicago, but I moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and yes, a bit of a change. No one really knows about Rodan Fields here, so which is great for me, but it's also really frustrating at times because they don't know how amazing it is. So I get a ton of no's, which I keep going, but I don't know if I'm presenting it the wrong way or if I just got to keep going and follow up and keep doing posts on my Facebook page. But how do you talk to people about the business that you haven't met before, or what do you usually say to make them intrigued?
Yeah. So I don't say a lot until they're on the phone with me. So your excitement and your energy and you knowing how amazing it is really valuable. That will come through in every conversation you have, whether it's a little message or whether it's on the playground or at work. That's why people will continue the conversation. You can always talk about the things you did when you were in Chicago, but honestly, even just to like maybe put it in perspective for them. So they've never heard of this, but we're the #1 skincare company in the United States. So that's like actually kind of awesome. If they've never heard of this and they have a whole network of people who need to hear about this, like I always talk about like people who have the opportunity to start a business in Australia right now, which, oh my God, I really want some people on my team in Australia. But I always say, if you heard that Starbucks was starting in a new country, like I would mortgage my house to start a franchise in that country of Starbucks. Like no questions asked. So I feel like you might be able to relate that to where you are. Nobody knows about it. Like, this is a freaking gold mine. Everybody wants good skin. Everybody wants healthy skin. And I mean, you know, people who say like, I'm not that kind of person. Like I used to say that and I'm always like, yeah, it turns out I am that kind of person. I'm that kind of person that like wants more money.
Yeah, that's the same way I was using just hand soap and tried it out.
I don't know what's that kind of a person. So I think it probably starts with your excitement. What do you say to them?
I just talk about I'm usually super excited because I am really excited about it, but I'm like, oh, you got to hear about my, side gig. I started, a skincare business, partnered with, the #1 skincare brand. And I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're the doctors that started Proactive. And usually people know about Proactive. And I've had people really excited. And then I go to get them on the phone. They're acting interested. And then I don't hear from them again.
They just go.
And I'll follow up with them like a few days later. And then a few days after that. And then they either don't get back to me or they talk to their husband. And
they talk to their husband before they know what they're talking to their husband about.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Pardon?
They talk to their husband before they know what they're talking to their husband about.
Right. Exactly. So
I would probably even give less information before.
Okay. That's a good idea.
I have this business that is so amazing, and I'm super excited about it, and I would love to talk to you about it. When's a good time to chat?
Okay.
And I don't talk about anything else until we get on the phone. If they ask what it is, I mean, I'll say, Rodan and Fields, it's, the #1 skincare brand. But I really need to fill you in. This is unlike anything I've ever known before. And then go back to getting them on the phone.
Okay.
But then I'll also go back to, so how many people are you talking to? Because
yeah, well, I'm in this.
You don't have to tell me real numbers, but at that point, so when somebody kind of ghosts me, again, I just message more people.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
I'll keep on going though. Thanks a lot. Those are good tips. Less is more. I like that.
I think you're totally gonna hit the jackpot. But also sometimes people just aren't ready to hear it. And it doesn't mean that everybody in your area isn't ready to hear it. It just means that the people who you've talked to so far are not ready.
Just keep going. Okay.
And I think I'm going to jump in. Brooke's going to
do it.
Smash me. When you do get on the phone with them, I always did the typical intro call and I would verbally vomit on them. And I didn't even hear a thing about them. And I started doing a lot of just hey, what made you want to get on the phone with me? Okay, cool. So what do you know about Rodan and Fields? Okay. So what could Rodan and Fields do for you? If you were making extra money, what would that do for you? And it's you're just hearing all about them. And then you find their pain point really fast. I need more money, or I want more self-time, something to identify. And you're not verbally vomiting on them. And then you're able to talk to them about the business in a very natural way. That's a conversation, and you're guiding them into the way that's going to help them with the business. You're not giving the typical, well, these are the makers of Proactive, and we pulled out of Nordstrom, and we are $1 billion brand. You're saying, okay, dude, what do you need this for? Why are you even on the phone with me? And you find out, and then that can totally steer your conversation. That's what I've just have that intro call has become a really good conversation. And it helps you get to know them.
And it's less pressure than you feel.
Yeah, it's just,
it makes it go better. That's a good
You're
idea.
asking them the questions and you are listening.
Excellent.
100%. Susie's ass.
I have a question, if you guys can hear me.
We can. Who is this?
Hi, I'm Jenny. This is Jenny. I'm a new consultant, just 2 weeks in, but super excited to be here. I have already, in the 2 weeks I've had, seen the benefits of getting people on the phone and done a couple of 3-way calls with my sponsor, and they've been really beneficial. But I've noticed that a few people, they'll, message them and they'll show interest and they want to hear more. I'm like, okay, so let's get on the phone, and I'll give them a couple of times. And I just feel like people are so phone adverse and they want to hide behind their computer screens and just text or Facebook message. So when you come across that issue, what are the types, how do you get them actually on the phone? Because clearly that's the way to get, to talk to people and understand what their needs are.
Yeah. I think that's becoming more and more of a thing. I tell people my business happens on the phone. So I just very honestly say, you're not going to get everything out of it that you need if I send you a link or if we chat on, text. You're just not. And I'm honestly my business is too busy to meet everybody in person. So it's really efficient if we can just hop on the phone for 20 minutes. And if you have kids in the background, that's totally fine. That's real life. But that's how this business works, is we talk on the phone. So when's a good time? So I always come back to just assuming that they're going to say yes again and say, when's a good time? Is that helpful?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to try that. Thank you.
I think a lot of times, I totally do this too, but we hear, or we have one thing happen a couple times, and then we're a little bit scared that it's going to happen. And if we just call it out, it's honest, it's authentic, and people like it. So, I told you guys, I stalk people. I will send you messages for years and years and years. And I don't care if you tell me you don't want this stuff. I will send you another message. But I call it out. I say that. I'm like, hey, it's your stalker skincare friend, Brooke. And got this sale going on. It's really great. Do you want better lashes? Do you want less wrinkles? I can help you. So always like call it out. With any, and honestly, a lot of times, anytime you feel uncomfortable, sometimes it's helpful to call it out. If you guys are getting to your cold market of people who you don't know, call it out. Hey, I know this is super weird and we're only Facebook friends. I don't even know if we've met. I wonder how we know each other. But I'm really passionate about this business that I have and I'd love to share it with you. Like, just call it out.
And the more real you are, like, we all know. Sorry, Brooke, I'm jumping in. Just
I love it. We're like tag teaming right now.
I know. You just text me when you want me to just shut up.
I'll tell you in front of everyone.
You know, MLMs are all over the place, like LuLaRoe, everything. And we get those messages sometimes, and we're like, well, this doesn't seem very authentic. So my copy paste enter is very me. And I'm like, yo, I know I am probably irritating the hell out of you. If I don't say a swear word, then I don't think they think it's me. So be authentic. Even if you're copy pasting, be super real and authentic, you know, in your copy paste, in your messages, and they can still be duplicatable and like copy paste. But Brooke's right, like call it out. Make it not awkward. Make yourself stand out from all the other people that are messaging these people. However it works for you. Like, I have to say a swear word. Brooke's going to tell people, you have wrinkles. You need to fix it. You know, do it.
We do that very often, just so you know.
Here and there. Chantal actually was at a store and saw a girl with really bad acne. And, you know, no one's going to mess with Chantal. So she said, girl, I can help you. And she gave her, like, a card. And the girl called her and became a PC. So, you know, I'm not recommending that, but I'm saying, like, be real, be authentic, because you know everyone can see through it. I don't know.
I like it. Anybody else have stuff going on? No?
Anyone feeling slow? It's August. August is the month of slow. I see lots of teachers on here. I know it's slow. Nope. Not gonna say it.
Well, I'll just kind of close up a little bit. So basically, my main point that I hope I got through was to keep going and don't get stuck. The more people that you talk to and don't overthink it, the better your business is going to grow. If you feel like you have a slow couple days, use that as motivation to start more new conversations. If you feel like you've had a slow month, use that as more motivation to have a faster month next month and talk to more people next month. It's a numbers game. It's, you know, we always say this business is not easy, but it is pretty simple. It's talking to people, and the more people you talk to, the more people that you present the opportunity of the products and of the business, the more people that will say yes. The faster you fail, the faster you will have success. The one last thing I'm going to say, we had a training with Katie Wood, and I don't know if you guys know who she is, but she's like Susie's crush, like for real crush. She tracked her down in a bathroom. But we had a training with her, and one of my favorite things that she said was massive action breeds invisible results, which turns into massive success. So consistent action breeds invisible results, which turns into massive success. A lot of times we get to the invisible results part and we stop the consistent action. But if we keep with the consistent action, that's when we get to the massive success. And I remember that when I feel like I'm stuck, like I don't know what to do, like my business isn't growing, like that one person that I swore was going to be my first level 5 isn't responding. I just know I'm in the invisible results phase. And all I have to do is keep on with the continuous action to get to the massive results. So thank you guys so much for hopping on. I hope this was helpful. Oh my God, this is so interesting. Have a great evening, and yeah, have a good weekend. Tomorrow's Friday. Yes, we made it, you guys. We almost made it.
It's the best reach out day, by the way.
What?
That's the best reach out day.
Oh,
Personally.
Friday's the best reach out day, apparently. Get it.
Everyone's sitting on their phones.
I love it. Okay, I'm going to stop recording.